Welcome back to the Expensive Coins History channel, fellow coin collectors and enthusiasts. Today we embark on an extensive journey to uncover everything you need to know about a significant piece of Canadian numismatic history, the 1972 1-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II, famously known as the Canadian penny. This coin, particularly the version without a mint mark, holds a special place in the hearts of collectors and historians alike. Over the course of this video, we will dive into its design, production history, rarity, factors that influence its value, and its current standing in the coin market in 2025. Let's begin by setting the historical stage for this iconic piece. The year 1972 was nestled firmly in a period of transition for Canadian coinage. The penny, which had been a fundamental unit of currency for over a century, still featured the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II on its obverse side. This particular portrait was designed by Arnold Machin and was first introduced in 1965, remaining in use until 1989. The depiction presents a youthful yet regal Queen Elizabeth II, adorned with the famous tiara, symbolizing Canada's connection to the British monarchy and its status as a constitutional monarchy within the Commonwealth. Flipping the coin over to the reverse side reveals the unmistakable maple leaf twig design, created by artist George Kruger Gray. This design had been a constant on the Canadian 1-cent coin since 1937, representing the nation's natural heritage and pride. The twin maple leaves perched delicately on a single twig have become a lasting emblem of Canada, recognized worldwide. Now, let us examine the production and mintage of the 1972 penny. The Royal Canadian Mint produced hundreds of millions of pennies this year to meet the demand of everyday commerce. The exact figures are significant because they help us understand the relative rarity or abundance of the coin in circulation. While the 1972 penny was not a limited issue or a special edition, the no mint mark variety specifically refers to coins minted at the main facility in Ottawa. Unlike later years when pennies bore a small P mint mark indicating the Winnipeg Mint, 1972 coins were typically struck without such identifiers. Despite the high mintage numbers, these coins are far from rare in the traditional sense, as countless examples remain in circulation or stored in collections. However, rarity in numismatics isn't solely about how many were made, it also concerns how many survive in pristine condition. Because the penny was a low-value coin used for everyday transactions, many 1972 pennies show signs of wear, scratches, corrosion, or damage. Finding one in a near-mint or uncirculated state is considerably less common and, therefore, more valuable. Moving on to the physical characteristics, the 1972 penny is composed of a bronze alloy, consisting primarily of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. It weighs approximately 3.24 grams and measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter. This composition and size had been standard for Canadian pennies for decades. The coin's edge is smooth, without any reading or inscriptions, giving it a classic, straightforward feel. Now, let's focus on the factors that contribute to the coin's value today. In 2025, the value of a 1972 Canadian 1-cent coin depends heavily on its condition or grade. Coins in circulated condition typically fetch prices close to or just above face value, as they remain common and widely available. However, when a 1972 penny is found in an uncirculated or mint state condition, it can command a premium from collectors seeking quality examples. Collectors use a grading scale to determine a coin's condition, ranging from poor to mint state, with several subgrades in between. For example, a coin graded mint state 60, MS 60, indicates it is uncirculated but may have minor imperfections, while higher grades like MS 65 or MS 67 represent exceptional condition with little to no visible flaws. The higher the grade, the more desirable and valuable the coin becomes. another important aspect influencing value is the presence of any minting errors or anomalies. Although 1972 pennies are generally not known for significant error varieties, occasional mistakes such as off-center strikes, double dies, or planchet flaws can occur. These error coins are prized by collectors because they are unusual and often scarce. If authenticated and properly graded, such error pennies can be worth significantly more than their standard counterparts. It is also essential to note that while the 1972 no mint mark penny does not have the rarities seen in some other years or special issues, the coin's historical context and classic design contribute to its desirability. Many collectors appreciate these coins not only for their monetary value but also for their role as tangible pieces of Canadian heritage. As the penny has been officially phased out of circulation in Canada since 2013, demand for collectible examples has increased slightly. This discontinuation means no new pennies are being minted, and surviving coins like the 1972 issue gain importance as representatives of a bygone era in Canadian currency. Consequently, the market has seen modest price appreciation, especially for well-preserved specimens. In terms of current market value, here is a detailed overview for 2025. A circulated 1972 Canadian penny is generally worth between 5 to 10 cents, occasionally more if it is in excellent condition despite having been used. Coins graded by professional services as mint state 60 or higher can range in value from 1 to 5 Canadian dollars depending on grade and appeal. Exceptionally high-grade examples graded MS 65 or above, especially those encapsulated by reputable grading companies, may sell for $10 or more. For coins with verified mint errors, prices vary widely but can reach several times the value of a standard coin. Collectors interested in purchasing or selling these coins should carefully evaluate the coin's condition and consider professional grading to maximize value. Grading not only provides an objective assessment of condition but also increases buyer confidence, especially in the secondary market and auctions. To summarize, the 1972 no mint mark Queen Elizabeth II Canadian 1-cent coin is a well-loved and historically significant piece with a design that encapsulates Canadian identity. While not inherently rare due to its large mintage, the coin's value is largely determined by condition and any unique features it may possess. In 2025, the market reflects steady interest with values ranging modestly for circulated coins and more substantially for mint state and error examples. The 1993 no mint mark Queen Elizabeth 1-cent coin. Whether you're a serious collector, a history buff, or just curious about the value and story behind this humble penny, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to explore its historical background, design features, rarity, how much it's worth today, and what collectors should look for when handling this coin. The 1993 1-cent coin was minted during a transitional period in Canadian currency. At this time, pennies were still very much in circulation, despite increasing debates about their practicality and cost of production. The Canadian penny itself has a rich history dating back to the mid-19th century, but by the early 1990s, inflation and changing economic realities meant that pennies were slowly losing their everyday relevance. This particular 1993 coin is unique because it lacks a mint mark, indicating it was produced at the Ottawa Mint. The absence of a mint mark on Canadian pennies minted in Ottawa is typical for this period, as mint marks are usually reserved for coins produced in other facilities like Winnipeg. This detail may seem minor, but it helps collectors pinpoint exactly where and when their coin was made, an important factor when assessing rarity and value. Now, let's examine the coin's design and physical characteristics in detail. On the obverse side, you'll find a finely detailed portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This rendition was crafted by the renowned artist Dora de Pedery Hunt, who was the first Canadian artist to design a portrait of the Queen to appear on Canadian coins. The portrait depicts Her Majesty in a dignified and poised manner, and around the rim, the inscription reads, Elizabeth II DG Regina, which stands for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. Flipping the coin over, the reverse side showcases the iconic maple leaf twig, a symbol deeply associated with Canadian identity. This design, created by G. E. Kruger Gray, has been a staple on Canadian 1-cent coins since the 1930s. The words Canada and 1 cent are prominently displayed, underscoring the coin's denomination and national origin. Physically, this penny weighs approximately 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19.10 millimeters. It is primarily composed of copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc to improve durability and prevent excessive wear. The coin features a smooth, plain edge and a standard business strike finish, meaning it was produced for general circulation. When it comes to rarity and value, the 1993 no-mint mark penny occupies an interesting position. The mintage for this year was quite high, with over 800 million coins produced. Such a large number might suggest that this coin isn't rare, and in typical circulated condition, that's true. It is relatively common. However, rarity isn't just about the quantity minted, it also involves the coin's condition, unique variations, and survival rate in good shape. For example, most pennies in circulation suffer from scratches, discoloration, or wear from decades of use. Consequently, high-grade specimens that retain their original luster and detail are considerably harder to find, making them more desirable to collectors. The 1993 penny doesn't have many significant error varieties, which can often boost a coin's value. That said, coins that are found in pristine uncirculated condition or those that have been professionally graded and certified can command higher prices. Some collectors specifically seek out coins with exceptional eye appeal, sharp details, and minimal handling marks. As of 2025, the market value for the 1993 no-mint mark Canadian penny varies widely depending on its condition and certification status. For pennies that have been circulated and show noticeable signs of wear, the value typically hovers around face value, that is, 1 cent if you have a coin in uncirculated condition, which means it shows no wear and maintains original mint luster. The value can increase to approximately 15 to 20 cents Canadian, for coins graded in the mint state category, which includes grades from MS60 to MS65 and higher. Prices can rise significantly. At MS65 or better, the penny might be worth up to 7 or 8 Canadian dollars, reflecting its scarcity in that grade. Coins that are certified as specimen strikes or have a proof-like finish can fetch moderate premiums as well. It's important to note that the Canadian penny was officially discontinued in 2013, and since then, collectors and investors have shown increased interest in these coins, which could positively influence their value over time. Now, what does this mean for collectors or anyone holding onto a 1993 no-mint mark penny? First, if you're casually holding a handful of these coins, they are unlikely to be worth much beyond their face value. However, if you have a coin in exceptional condition, it's worth having it professionally appraised or graded. Certification from a reputable grading company can authenticate the coin's condition and improve its resale potential. Second, consider the coin's place in Canadian history. This penny is part of a significant era, the last few decades before the penny's elimination from circulation. It represents the end of a monetary tradition that began over a century earlier. Third, be mindful of market trends. Coin collecting values can fluctuate based on collector demand, metal prices, and economic conditions. Although the 1993 penny doesn't command the astronomical prices of rarer coins, it still holds value for those who appreciate its history and craftsmanship. In conclusion, the 1993 no-mint mark Queen Elizabeth Canadian 1-cent coin might seem like an ordinary penny at first glance. Yet, it embodies a rich historical narrative, exquisite artistry, and a tangible connection to Canada's cultural identity. Its value in 2025 depends largely on condition, rarity in high grades, and the evolving market for Canadian coins. For collectors, this penny offers an accessible entry point into the world of Canadian numismatics and a chance to own a piece of a disappearing era. For casual holders, it's a reminder of how everyday objects can gain significance over time. The 1994 Canadian 1-cent coin. It's important to understand the historical and economic context in which it was minted. The coin was produced during the reign of Queen Elizabeth II, whose effigy has been a consistent feature on Canadian coins since her coronation in 1953. The year 1994 is significant because it marks one of the later years in the penny's long production run before it was eventually discontinued in Canada in 2012. The 1994 penny, unlike some other years, typically does not carry a mint mark. This absence signifies that the coin was struck at the Royal Canadian Mint's Ottawa facility. During this period, the Ottawa Mint was responsible for producing a substantial volume of pennies to meet the country's circulating currency demands. In terms of production numbers, the 1994 penny was minted in very large quantities, with over 500 million pieces struck that year. This means that in general, the coin is not considered rare from a purely numerical standpoint. However, rarity in the numismatic world is not solely determined by mintage numbers, but by a combination of factors including errors, variations, condition, and historical significance. Let's take a closer look at the design elements of the 1994 1-cent coin. The obverse side prominently features a young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, facing right. This design was created by artist Dora de Pedery Hunt, who was commissioned to produce a new effigy of the Queen for Canadian coinage in the early 1990s. Her work is recognized for its fine detail and dignified portrayal, capturing the Queen's regal presence with subtle realism. Flipping the coin over reveals the classic Canadian maple leaf twig, a symbol that has been associated with the penny since 1937. The leaf's design is both simple and elegant, a small branch with two leaves that embodies the country's national identity. The year 1994 is clearly marked beneath the maple leaves, indicating the coin's year of production. The coin specifications are standard for Canadian pennies of this era. It measures 19.05 mm in diameter, has a thickness of approximately 1.45 mm, and weighs about 2.5 grams. It is composed primarily of copper, specifically a bronze alloy consisting of 98% copper with small amounts of tin and zinc, which gives the coin its characteristic reddish-brown hue. Despite its high mintage, the 1994 penny without a mint mark has garnered interest among collectors due to certain subtle characteristics and potential error varieties. While the vast majority of these coins circulated widely and remain common, specific specimens can stand out. For example, coins that have been preserved in exceptional condition, showing little to no wear and maintaining their original luster, are highly prized. These uncirculated or mint state coins are rare because pennies are typically used heavily in everyday transactions and tend to suffer significant wear. More intriguing are coins exhibiting minting errors or anomalies. Errors such as doubling on the obverse or reverse, missing details, die cracks, or off-center strikes are highly sought after in the coin collecting community. In some cases, such errors can cause a dramatic increase in the coin's value, sometimes by orders of magnitude. The absence of a mint mark on the 1994 penny is standard for Ottawa minted coins, but collectors occasionally look for very subtle variations in the font or spacing of the date and lettering, which can indicate die varieties or production anomalies. These varieties require a trained eye and magnification to detect but can make the coin significantly more valuable. Turning to the market value of the 1994 no-mint mark Canadian penny in 2025, the range is broad and largely dependent on condition and rarity factors. In general circulation condition, the coin remains close to its face value of 1 cent. as millions of these pennies still exist in change jars and coin collections. However, pennies in pristine condition, graded professionally as mint state 60 and above, can command much higher prices. A coin graded as MS65, meaning it is uncirculated with strong luster and minimal marks, can be valued in the range of 20 to 30 Canadian dollars. Higher grade specimens, such as MS66 or MS67, which are extremely well preserved with near-perfect surfaces, can fetch prices upwards of 50 to 100 Canadian dollars or more, depending on the collector demand and current market trends. If the coin also features notable errors or die variations, its value can increase substantially. For instance, a coin with a clear double die or off-center strike error could be worth several $100s or more to the right buyer. It's important to note that the Canadian penny itself was officially withdrawn from circulation in 2012, which has introduced a degree of scarcity and increased interest in these coins among collectors and investors alike. As time progresses, high-grade specimens and unique error coins from the 1994 batch are likely to become increasingly rare, potentially driving prices even higher. If you happen to own a 1994 no-mint mark Canadian penny, especially one that appears in excellent condition or shows unusual features, it's advisable to have it evaluated by a professional numismatist or a reputable coin grading service. Proper grading can authenticate the coin's condition and reveal any hidden errors, which can significantly affect its value. For collectors, acquiring such coins in high grade or with verified errors can be a rewarding investment. Preserving the coin in protective holders or capsules is essential to maintain its condition and protect it from environmental damage. The 1994 Canadian 1-cent coin without a mint mark is a fascinating numismatic piece that represents a moment in Canada's coinage history. While it is not rare in sheer numbers, the potential for error varieties and the interest in high-grade specimens make it an exciting coin for collectors and investors alike. Whether you are looking to add this coin to your collection or curious about its value, understanding its history, design, and market dynamics is key. With the Canadian penny's withdrawal from circulation and ongoing interest in collectible coins, the 1994 no-mint mark penny remains a small but valuable piece of Canadian heritage. The 1995 Canadian 1-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II, specifically those coins struck without a mint mark. While pennies are often overlooked in the world of coin collecting due to their widespread circulation and relatively low face value, this particular coin offers much more than meets the eye. From its historical significance to its rarity and current value in 2025, this video will provide a comprehensive understanding of why the 1995 no-mint mark penny remains a fascinating collectible for coin enthusiasts and investors alike. To fully appreciate the 1995 Canadian penny, we must first step back and understand the broader history of the Canadian 1-cent coin. The Canadian penny has been a staple of everyday currency for over a century, first introduced in 1858. Over the decades, its design, composition, and minting processes evolved to reflect changes in society, technology, and national identity. By 1995, the penny bore the familiar image of Queen Elizabeth II on its obverse, a portrait that symbolized the country's status within the Commonwealth. This effigy was designed by the renowned Canadian artist Dora de Pedery Hunt, whose elegant and dignified rendition of the Queen has graced Canadian coins since 1990. On the reverse side, the unmistakable maple leaf, a powerful emblem of Canada's natural heritage and national pride, was featured. The 1990s marked an era when pennies were still heavily used in daily transactions, though their importance was beginning to wane due to inflation and the rise of electronic payments. The 1995 penny was minted during a period of steady production before the Canadian government eventually decided to discontinue the penny in 2012. This cessation was due to the cost of producing the coin exceeding its face value, as well as changing economic habits rendering the penny less practical. Now, let us examine what distinguishes the 1995 penny without a mint mark. In Canadian coinage, mint marks are small letters or symbols added to coins to indicate which mint facility produced them. For the penny, most of the coins were produced at the Royal Canadian Mints facility in Ottawa, which typically did not add a mint mark to their coins, especially for the 1995 issue. In contrast, other mints such as those in Winnipeg and Vancouver sometimes used mint marks to identify their coins. The absence of a mint mark on the 1995 penny confirms it was produced at the Ottawa Mint. While this in itself does not create rarity, it is important for collectors to distinguish this variety from those with mint marks to fully appreciate the nuances in Canadian coinage history. In 1995, the Ottawa Mint produced approximately 625 million pennies without a mint mark, making these coins relatively abundant compared to certain low mintage or error coins. Despite this high production number, specific conditions and variations can contribute to individual coins becoming valuable or rare. The 1995 no-mint mark penny follows the traditional specifications that had been consistent since the 1980s. It is composed primarily of bronze, an alloy consisting of 95% copper, 4.5% tin, and 0.5% zinc. This composition gives the coin its characteristic reddish-brown hue. The coin weighs 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, with a smooth, plain edge. On the obverse side, Queen Elizabeth II is portrayed wearing a tiara, with inscriptions of her name and the year of minting. The reverse side prominently features the single maple leaf attached to a twig, along with the word Canada and the denomination 1 cent. Because of its metallic composition, the coin is prone to develop a natural patina over time, which can range from a rich reddish-brown to darker tones depending on environmental factors such as exposure to air, moisture, and handling. While the 1995 no-mint mark penny is not rare in the traditional sense due to its high mintage, it holds a unique position for collectors. The rarity and value of any coin are not only determined by how many were produced but also by how many have survived in excellent condition and how sought after they are by collectors. The fact that Canada stopped producing pennies in 2012 has sparked increased interest in earlier issues, including the 1995 penny. Coins from this era now represent a bygone period of Canadian currency and carry a certain nostalgic and historical value. For collectors, the most prized 1995 pennies are those that remain in uncirculated or mint condition. Coins that have never been handled or used in commerce, with no wear and full original luster, are scarce. Many pennies, having been used in daily transactions, show signs of scratches, dents, discoloration, or other forms of damage that diminish their collectible value. Furthermore, some coins may exhibit minor die variations, planchet flaws, or striking errors that can make them rare and highly desirable among numismatists. Although the 1995 penny is not known for widespread error varieties, any authentic anomaly found can significantly increase a coin's value. Condition is paramount in determining a coin's value, and the Canadian 1 cent coin is no exception. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state, with mint state being the highest grade representing an uncirculated coin with no signs of wear. The grading system assesses various aspects including surface preservation, luster, strike quality, and presence or absence of scratches or other imperfections. For the 1995 no-mint mark penny, common grades observed among collectors include mint state 60 through mint state 68. Most circulated 1995 pennies fall within grades ranging from very fine to about uncirculated, indicating moderate to light wear. Uncirculated examples graded MS60 or above are considerably rarer, with prices increasing substantially as the grade rises. Turning to the present, the market value of the 1995 no-mint mark Canadian penny in 2025 depends primarily on condition and demand. For pennies that have been circulated and show signs of normal wear, The coin's value remains close to face value or slightly higher, generally between 5 cents to 25 cents Canadian dollars. These coins are common and typically not sought after by serious collectors, but they do hold sentimental and educational value. Uncirculated coins, however, present a different story. An MS-60 grade coin might command a modest premium, typically ranging from 50 cents to 1 Canadian dollar, whereas coins graded MS-65 or higher can fetch between 5 to 20 Canadian dollars. The best specimens graded MS-67 or above can sell for $50 or more depending on market interest and buyer enthusiasm. Collectors and investors often seek these high-grade coins to add to their collections, given the Canadian penny's historical significance and the fact that new specimens will no longer be produced. Several factors affect the value of the 1995 no-mint mark penny beyond just grade and condition. These include eye appeal. Coins that have a pleasing color and sharp strike attract higher prices. Patina. Natural toning can enhance desirability if it is aesthetically pleasing. Authentication. Verified coins graded by professional services often command premiums. Rarity of specific varieties. Coins with subtle variations or errors may fetch higher prices. Market trends. Demand among Canadian and international collectors fluctuates, impacting pricing. The 1995 no-mint mark Queen Elizabeth II Canadian 1-cent coin offers a captivating glimpse into the nation's numismatic past. Though not rare by mintage figures, the coin's historical context, the eventual discontinuation of the penny, and the potential for high-grade uncirculated examples to appreciate in value make it an important piece for collectors. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a casual coin enthusiast, understanding the nuances of this coin's history, design, and market value in 2025 will enable you to appreciate its place within Canadian coinage and the broader world of collectible currency. Thank you for joining me today on this detailed journey through the 1995 no-mint mark Canadian penny. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts or questions in the comments below. Until next time, happy collecting and may your coins always shine brightly.